We're heading into solar minimum, and it seems that we're getting really hit by solar flares, coronal mass ejections. This time we have 7 sunspots to cause a Christmas chaos for radio and GPS, and we have to stay vigilant. This is the latest on space weather. Today's December 21st sunspots: 2911, 2912, 13, 2908, 07, 2910, 2906, and they're all over the face of the sun. And we have to, this is besides the fact that we had the new solar storm warning, high alerts with M1 class flares. We had a blackout over the South Atlantic yesterday. So now we have 7 sunspots causing chaos. An expert sounded the alarm over several sunspots that could cause chaos for GPS and radio over Christmas. Space weather physicist Dr. Tamitha Skov's forecast points that a massive coronal hole in the sun's core has been rapidly rotating into the Earth's strike zone. She warns that there is big flare potential. Dr. Skov said the fast solar wind coming from the large coronal hole has threatened up to a 45% chance of a major storm. So that's almost 50%. She adds that there are up to 7 sunspot clusters on the Earth-facing disk, including several that are big flare players. She warns that while one massive solar storm is not Earth-directed, we could even get some more big flares that have blackout risks. She says flares are starting to pop up again, almost being like little paparazzi bulbs that could signify that we could get some bigger flares coming in here soon and cause some radio blackouts for GPS users and amateur radio operators, so stay vigilant, she says. She shares her prediction on Twitter, and Dr. Skov added, "The new forecast is up. Learn about coming Christmas solar storm and its impact at Earth by December 24th. That is, of course, Christmas Eve." Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. A solar flare is an intense burst of radiation coming from the release of magnetic energy associated with sunspots from the sun. Flares are our solar system's largest explosive events. They can be spotted as bright areas on the sun, and they can last from minutes to hours. Solar flares impact Earth only when they occur on the side of the sun facing our Earth, obviously. And because flares are made of photons, they travel out directly from the flare site. So if we can see the flare, we can be impacted by this flare. U.S. Base Weather Center ranks solar storms a scale of G1 minor to G5 extreme, with the latter being the most dangerous. And while the lowest ranking storms are not considered intense, even the weakest ones can cause weak power grid fluctuations, have a minor impact on satellite operations. But the stronger storms get, the more potential to cause havoc they bring. Now, just a G3 ranked storm can result in the surface charging on satellites, and drag may increase on low Earth orbit spacecraft. And while stronger ones can even cause entire power grids to collapse, which could cause power blackouts. This is what happened in the South Atlantic yesterday. The powerful storms are also a risk for GPS navigation, as well as traffic services and satellite-based communications. And space weather said during storms, the currents in the ionosphere, as well as the energetic particles that precipitate into the ionosphere, add energy in the form of heat, and that can increase the density and distribution of density in the upper atmosphere, causing extra drag on satellites in low Earth orbit. So the local heating also creates strong horizontal variations in the ionospheric density that can modify the path of radio signals and create errors in the position information provided by GPS. But one less threatening feature of solar storms is the possibility of aurora sightings. Last month, forecasters predicted that a solar storm would bring aurora borealis, that is the northern lights, more commonly known, and the skies of northern Scotland. So you can see it over perhaps Canada as well. This is by Jacob Paul on Express UK. Let's go to space weather now. on space weather. Here are our sunspots, as we can see. 2911, 2911, 2910, 2906, 2907, 08, 09, 12, 13. Most of them are in the southern hemisphere, but you can see all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of them here. Geomagnetic storm watch, a CME coronal mass ejection heading for Earth. The storm could left the sun on this 20th, propelled by an M1 class solar flare. M1 class are medium-sized. They can cause brief radio blackouts that affect Earth's polar regions. Minor radiation storms sometimes follow an M-class flare compared to X and M-class events. C-class flares are small with few noticeable consequences on Earth. The X-class flares, of course, are the biggest, and they're major events that could trigger planet-wide radio blackouts and long-lasting radiation storms, God forbid. We don't want that. The M19 class solar flare in the magnetic canopy of sunspot 2908 right there. NOAA forecasters expect a glancing blow to Earth's magnetic field December 23rd, possibly sparking G1 class geomagnetic storms. And G1 class, as we said. Power systems, weak power grid fluctuations can occur. Spacecraft operations, minor impact on satellite operations possible. Other systems, migratory animals are affected at this and higher levels, and auroras, that is northern lights, southern lights, commonly visible at high altitudes, about Michigan and Maine, for example. We can also see Comet Leonard. And on December 20th, astronomers witnessed an outburst from the comet's core. In a matter of hours, it multiplied in brightness almost tenfold. Tonight, it was clearly visible as a star to the left of Venus. And this is a picture of it right there. Who sends a picture from La Palma in the Canary Islands. There he says, outbursts might signal fragmentation even in the comet's core. And this would come as no surprise. Comet is heading for its closest approach to the sun on January 3rd. Increasing heat may be liberated, new jets of gas and dust from the comet's core, or worse, blowing away huge chunks of ice and rock. There we go again. The comet seems to have an outburst with a noticeable jet of material. That's a beautiful image of it, isn't it? You know, a lot of amateur astronomers do great photography. They're very vigilant in looking at the skies, and they capture a lot of things. So, the Earth-directed solar flare, Sunspot 2908, as we said, it came out on the 20th of December. A pulse of X-rays ionized the top of Earth's atmosphere, causing minor shortwave radio blackout over the South Atlantic. And this is the map again that we saw. This is it. This is the blackout over this area. It even took up the Mediterranean as well, obviously. Okay, over the Mediterranean, the Antarctic, most of Africa. Okay, so this was the blackout, high frequency affected by this absorption. So that was the map, as you can see, and we may have a lot more coming around the 24th. There we are. I received an alarm about a solar flare, says Pepe Manteca of Barcelona, Spain, so I was able to quickly mount my Lunt 152. Here are the images. Let's see. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. More of them here. Beautiful images. So, okay, that's what's coming at us. It seems like now that we're heading into solar maximum, the solar cycle changes every 11 years, we're getting a lot more solar flares directed towards us. So let's be vigilant about that. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.